What going on, people? It's Mr. Dub back again with the review show. I hope everyone's fit and well. Topics today: the game ended. Crystal Palace 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Are you happy with the point? Are you just a little disappointed? Get your questions in now. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And the vlog, I know it's a bit late. It's straight after this review show because I've been so busy today. I went goose fair with my little girl, so please watch the vlog afterwards as well. It was 0-0, but it was a good vlog. Right, people, let's get the panel in. Let's start with the man himself, Glenn. Hi, how are you, Glenn?
Yeah, very well. I'm hearing stories from Mark and others about the journey back yesterday. I hope everybody got safely back. There's a few issues with trains, even from leaving Norwood Junction, weren't there? There were some trains cancelled, so I hope that didn't impact on the journey back. But yeah, very much looking forward to reviewing the game. It was a bit of a end-to-end one, wasn't it? Looking forward to that very much today.
End-to-one. Next up, we've got the man himself, Welsh. Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good, Ben. Yeah, like I said before we came on, been a lovely day here in Wales. Just making the most of the Indian summer we get in. So yeah, all good.
And his Wi-Fi is working, so that's a much bonus as well, people. So yeah. It's working. Next up, he's back on the channel. Long time no see. The man himself, Mark. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Just slight mixed feelings about yesterday, whether it's a point gained or 2 points dropped, but good away day for me because I haven't been to Palace for a long time.
I said, people, we'll digest the game from yesterday. Like I said, people, were you happy with the result? We're a bit disappointed. And to get the panel's view, and as well, people in the chat, get your views as well. And let me say hello to everyone in the chat. Paul, hope you're doing in the right direction and keep saying all the right things from me. That's something that we will talk about. Man himself, Dylan. Hello, Lars. Dylan, when are you back on this show? I know you've been busy working. Please come back on this show, my friend. Gary, hi, Ben, Glenn, hi, Lars, Mark, and Beardy Steve as well. I think you love that. Evening, Mr. Dor and Panda. How you doing, Big Mart? And the legend herself. Good evening, Mr. Dor, Glenn, Mark, and Steve. Hope you're well. Enjoying the hard picture outside the Seat Ground and Trent Bridge Cricket Ground while I'm watching and listening. I love it. Keep doing your work, Eve. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But right, people, let's start. As you know, I went to the game, digest the game, and we're gonna start with the formation, the lineup. As we know, Tyrone got injured. Chris will come into the team. Glenn, let me start with you. Was you happy with the team?
Yeah, I don't think the transfer from Wood in for Taiwo was necessarily a surprise. Or the surprise was that Taiwo was injured. I didn't think Des and a few others were saying how much perhaps yesterday might have been a massive step towards Taiwo getting back into form and scoring some more goals. Obviously, the goal he scored last year at Sellers Park would have been an ideal situation for him to be in. But obviously, that groin strain meant that he wasn't playing, and Wood was obviously the debutant for there. I think the way that Wood plays, we asked him to play 65 minutes, didn't we? So that was arguably a little bit longer than he would normally have played for us, and it showed that he didn't have that same sort of element that Taiwo brings. Obviously, he was winning corners and getting involved with some of the distribution that Turner was bringing out. But actually, I didn't think he had a particularly bad game. Nothing particularly surprising there. And obviously, that was an ideal thing for Dico Origi then eventually to come on and have nearly a shot on goal and win it at the end. That little nick of his toe, if he was a size 12 or 13, it might have been a bit different situation. But, in terms of the formation, to answer the question as well, I think it's the first time we've played 4 at the back away for some time, isn't it? Best part of a year or more. So it's certainly the way that the rest of the games in this little patch will no doubt go. I think that was a ideal team to put out against a Luton. No doubt we'll talk about that again as well later on. But no, not a surprise other than Taiwo's absence. And I think Wood made as best could be expected, really, in terms of replacing for him,
Steve, seeing people like Toffolo starting, we know, again, we'll mention him later on in the show. Wood as well, like, was you happy with, especially the back four, because we know Nikachi was injured, but was you surprised Toffolo starting, or what was
no, not really, because the cameo he made against Brentford was brilliant, wasn't it? if you think about it on a bit, has Toffolo ever really let us down? I don't think. I think someone's mentioned today that he might be slowly becoming our callback in a sense. I know he's an out-and-out left back, but when you think about it, like I can't think. Yeah, maybe the odd game Toffolo has been under par, but like he's never really like had a shocker. You know, he hasn't had a game where you think, oh no, he's not the level. Do you know what? And a funny, I know the player who's injured now. I keep on for Aina. That's how I pronounce it. Aina.
Yeah,
He can play either side. But what Toffolo does bring is the right balance at left back. He's an out-and-out left back, and he's left-footed. And you could see it. It just adds that base at the back. He is an out-and-out left back. With Aina, can play both. Nico Williams can play both. Aurier's obviously a right back, and Montel. I think Montel could play both as well if need be. So, but Toffolo is probably the out-and-out left back we got at the club. So, yeah, and also Wood, like Glenn touched on, he was always going to start ahead of Origi. But then Wood, he did try. There was a one instant where Aurier, in the first half, excellent ball in, and you know the defender, I think it was like Gui or Henderson, got in front of him. But we didn't really play into his strengths either. He tried to hold it up. We done a few hold up, but we didn't really whip the ball into the B as much as what he would have liked. But yeah, as far as that, then the midfield didn't surprise me because again we're touching it probably later. The midfield proves itself at the moment, you know, standard. So, but yeah, maybe the one exception was maybe I thought you may have gone with that Greek keeper yesterday.
That's what we'll talk about as well.
Yeah, he's being faithful to turn at the moment. So yeah, other than that, again, Toffolo didn't let us down. So
Mark, as Steve just touched on, was you surprised Turner starting? Because I know everyone talks about he wasn't great against Brentford, but was you happy, sad that he continued to play Turner?
I don't think Turner's really done much wrong and not really given Cooper any real reason to bring Vlachodimos in. As for the formation, wasn't surprised to see him play a back four. I think we're going to see more and more now in playing a back four, except against the big clubs, because he's got the options to do it now. I think we really missed Taiwo. There was some cracking moments where people around me were saying that you could see it would have been perfect for Taiwo, ball through. Wood's hold-up play is good, but he's not got that pace to get in behind and do what we're really suited or set up to do now with some of our midfield players.
Right, let's talk about the first half. Glenn, first off, I thought it was really good, and this has happened for a long time, especially away from home. We kept the ball a lot. We created a few chances as well, and like I said, the formation, I was happy we played 4 at the back. I was really happy, but before the game, we knew that Palace had loads of players injured. But do you think the final third just let us down yesterday? Because, like I said, we was on top first half, weren't we?
We were. We looked really bright, looked really energetic. Lots of variety, lots of options going forward. Arguably, Toffolo was as good as he was against Brentford in terms of providing those opportunities down the left-hand side, and he was being used a lot, wasn't he, through Turner, through Murllio, and then down that left-hand side for both halves. So that cross in on the left-hand side was a real impact. It was interesting that Gibbs-White was starting on the right-hand side. Some of the options that people were putting forward as potential formations were saying that Gibbs-White may well start on the left, and only one was saying on the right. And in fact, having Hudson-Odoi there on the left-hand side, I thought gave us another variety there as well. Although they didn't give him a lot of space, he was really limited in what he could offer. But no, the going forward, it certainly seemed like we were lots of energetic. Gibbs-White was absolutely on fire, wasn't he? The opportunities that he was giving and going, and lots of, obviously particularly through the midfield with Sangara and Mangala really working well together. I think the pair of them are really starting to gel between the pair, and Dominguez just sitting in front of them almost as another forward striker, and having that variety through the opportunities through there was really, really good to see. 58% possession, lots of shots on target, and lots of shots that were really starting to, like, equally the one that Wood missed was lots of variety, and we were actually really making some really good chances. So, first half, I wasn't surprised it was 0-0. In fact, I was quite happy that it was that, and we certainly seemed to be on the up. That, first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, they seemed to be coming back into a lot more, and we had the majority of the chances in the last sort of 15, 20, didn't we? So I think on par, I think by the end that the point was worthy, particularly from Sam Johnson's saves, and no doubt, that to answer your question, their strength, even when they've got the injuries, is their back four and the keeper. That's where they nullified our options. So yes, in the final third, we weren't great, but that was as a result of the way that Palace play, and particularly the strength that they've got there. And Sam Johnson, who, without him, we may well have won 2 or 3-0. Those opportunities that we had, particularly in the tail end of the game, and as well, no doubt we'll talk about Murllio and the opportunity that he had just before half time. Had it not been for him, I think they'd have lost and lost heavily. But no, it was a really good attacking performance. Yeah, there's progress to be made, and there's players to come back, and there's things to work through. But a team that's got players out injured like Palace, you should never underestimate still, because they've still got the opportunity or the chance to still nick it. And how Mateta is it? Missed the White to the right hand side. If that had gone in, different situation. But no, going forward, we look good, better than we've seen for some time. But no, it was always going to be difficult against Palace back four and the keeper.
100%. We can talk about individual players, and I think the player that stands out is Murllio. Steve, this guy, I don't know if people in the chat know, he only played 16 games. Is it Corinthians? Signed for 16 games. He's come to Forest. Like the first half an hour last week, you expect to be a bit, what's the word? Fragile. Nervous. That's the word. Nervous. But yesterday's performance, especially the first half, and that goal, he could have scored. Everyone wished he scored that goal, but Steve, and people in the chat as well. What a player! It's early days. Yeah, I don't want it. People were getting high horse about Scarpa, but as a defender, he's pace as well. It's a player that we need, don't we?
Yeah, for any scouts watching this, I think he's terrible. I think he's underrated. I think he's not worth the money. He should stay with us for 10 years. We should, bring him on, and then maybe we'll sell him for 2 million. Other than that, though, yeah, he's an amazing player, Ben. Yeah, to be honest with you, it was nice to hear some praise on the panel on Sky Sports. Even like some people online, I seen thought it was a bit patronising that they did almost a goal of the month thing with us. But then on the flip side, I didn't think it was patronised. I thought, they actually are praising us that any one of them 3 goals went in, they'd be in the top 10 or contender for goal of the month. So if that goal, it was weird. It was like, obviously you guys there watch it live, and obviously a different perspective. I watch it live. It was like slow motion. It was like, I was watching it. He beat the first guy, then he beat the other guy. I was like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then I thought he'd be a tackle or pass it out to the wide or pass it through the middle. He kept on going and going. And I was like, hang on. And when he done that last bit, the best bit is when he done that little shuffle at the end.
Yes.
That little dummy. Drop the shoulder, bang. And, only if he was low and hard, or someone said online as well, if it was his left foot, I think he would have beaten Johnson. And, we just would have been just like, wow. And Redknapp said in his, after the interview, that's why I just made that joke at the beginning. He said, big clubs will be looking at this boy in the future. And, it's,
they're looking at
whoever recruited him, whoever scouted him, fair play, because whoever cherry picked him from a Brazilian league where obviously we've had players that you mentioned, Scarpa and other players from that part of the world, to find this kid, because he's still a kid in footballing terms, and just the way, I don't know, he just seems just like, in a good way, emotionless on the pitch, that he doesn't get phased. Like you said, Ben, that first 20 half hour against Brentford, that could have crumbled some players. How many times we've seen a derby or some players, even Bally against Fulham last year, had a shocker. and it took him a couple of games to respond. But this kid, I felt for him in the first 20 minutes of Brentford, but he got through and it showed the mentality of him. That bit of skill he done against Brentford last week, and he just flicked it over to Dominguez. That's just, I'm sorry, that to do that on the Premiership pitch, the Premiership game, live on Sky, where you're just 21, to do that the audacity to do that in your first game, that could have easily gone wrong. And everyone would be like, what is this kid doing? But to do it, and that run yesterday, just back himself. And like Glenn said, he's got everything. He's got pace, power, he's reading on the game.
And the pass for
Morgan
gives way. Morgan gives way. I was like, what?
Now, I'm sorry, if De Bruyne did that, I mean, it's world class, isn't it? It's, that pass. And if that had gone in as well, I just like, I don't know. I think about my head would have gone through the roof. I think of this house.
Steve, you would have run on the streets with your onesie or something like that.
Oh, my onesie, my special onesie. Yeah. I still have to get a Forest custom one of that. Yeah, but yeah, Murllio. Yeah, but like I said, he's a terrible player. I mean, he's a brilliant player. Yeah, he's outstanding. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it, because, like I said, me, Glenn, and Mark watched him live yesterday, and I thought to myself, what a player we've got. And it's Steve's touched on it, the recruitment to get him. And if, like I said, if he was like a player that, we would have took ages to settle in, but it's took him so quick, hasn't it? Like Danilo, he'd come in, took him time to get to adjust, but Mark is very quick, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we were watching it side on when he ran through, and it looked absolute class from side on. And then when I saw the replay later head on, and you see what he does at the end of the move, at the end of it, he actually ran his toes over the ball and moved it sideways to take it away from the defender. But unfortunately, like Steve said, it was on his wrong foot. Otherwise, he'd have probably belted it past him. So, yeah, and a couple of other things I wanted to mention just from the first half. So, Toff, he was solid.
Yeah.
That ball over the top for Gibbs White, it was really unlucky not to lob the keeper when it come back up the post. And Toff actually had an absolute cracking shot from outside the box on his left foot. But unfortunately, that was straight at the goal as well.
Yeah, another shot. Yeah.
Really hit that well. That was a real good one. So, and I wasn't surprised he started as soon as I found out that Aina wasn't available. So, Toff's done nothing wrong for us, and he's proven his worth already, I think.
Glenn, I said, I'm not sure you want to read Glenn, like I said. And let me change the subject. Like I said, we've got so many centre-backs, Glenn. Do you think Willy Boly is the perfect player to help him out? Because Willy Boly's got experience in the Premier League. Is he the right guy to help him out, to make him that next step?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what we do without him right now, to be honest. I think the situation that Willy Boly puts himself in, puts his body on the line, no end of goals and points that we've got so far this season as a result of him playing that role of being the last man, often the wall, often the 6 foot, whatever he is, laying across the width of the goal. He's certainly the most experienced Premier League centre half that we've got at the moment, and would be an ideal, mentor for Maria and anybody else in that, Andrew Armadillo and everybody else in that situation, obviously, that's coming through. Obviously, Maria is in this situation now where he's only 21, and Dave's point was absolutely spot on. He's only really in a professional for about 6 months, and anything you learn from those sorts of players that have been around the block several times, I'm not sure how much Premier League years and seasons Boly's got necessarily, but he's certainly going to be a really good mentor and coach, no doubt, as he goes forward. And Maria's obviously the best person right now to put under his wing and show him the ropes. And no doubt Maria's going to be showing him some things as well. No, that's how it works, isn't it? When you get people working together like that, you're going to be rubbing off against each other. And learning each other's strengths and things that you
Glenn,
can do. And
again,
that's how
I
partnerships
can't
work.
see.
That's how
I
partnerships work really well.
I can't see Willy
You can't see
Bolly.
Bolly win. You can't see
I
Bolly
can't-
spread. Well, no,
I
quite.
can't-
But
no. I can't see.
things-
I can't see Willy Bolly going past 4 or 5 players. I can't see.
No, you're right. You're right. But
through them, maybe,
follow
not
on
round
from
them.
Stephen Mark
Through
yesterday.
maybe.
As Steve's point was absolutely spot on. He took 10, 11 touches, including the second shot.
Yeah.
We were in that 40-yard run, whatever it was. 3 or 4 on the edge of the penalty area, 2 just before the shot. And at all of those, like 2 or 3 touches at a time, you're looking for him to spray off or lay off or sort of. And the fact that he went through, we're going, what? Here we go. What? And all those stages thinking, this would have been an absolute incredible way to put yourself out there. And it's a shame that final finish, he just didn't choose potentially down to the keeper's left or right, and that might have been a bit different. But just hitting it hard and high, I think that was the thing he was at the moment. But to answer your question again, the Bolly-Maria partnership is a strong one for us right now. I don't know if you saw, Mark, right at the start of the sort of 15 minutes into the first half, really the first touch that Maria had was a 20-yard run across to our side of the pitch. And it took him about 3 steps to get up to full speed. And how quick he was across the back there was absolutely incredible. We just saw him, obviously, the way we were looking at the pitch from down that far side, just the way he just took off. And I don't know what happened after that. I think he cleared down. But no, the boy is a real talent. Steve, you're absolutely right. No one should be touching him. No one should be anywhere near him, at least for the next 30 league games. 30 league games. If we can hold on to him till 2024, 25, then that will be good. But no, he's ours right now, and he's going to be making massive impacts, and no doubt getting that goal eventually. But on the way through, he's going to be just doing what the centre half needs to do and stop goals and turn those defensive situations into attacking drives. So no, really, really promising. And actually, similar to what you were saying, I was at the Brentford game last Saturday, Dore, and I was at the Trent end behind him as he was playing, and it was obvious that when he had time, he was taking that pass. But Cooper was saying all week, wasn't he, how good he is at playing those balls. It's inevitable, isn't it? I can remember when I was 21, I probably talked about this before about Jono. Though I was 21, I was in my 3rd year of my 4-year degree as a trainee teacher. And I'm putting myself in that situation of where he is now in that stage. Both games, remember, both league games so far have been televised. So that's another pressure as well, being involved with all the TV things. And the boy's done amazingly to get into that situation so quickly. And he seems to be a real prospect and someone that, will only improve through Cooper and everybody else in the team. So, yeah, Bolly will help him, but I think he'll help himself and help the squad more than him.
100%. People, if you can do a massive favour, please do hit the like button if you can, and subscribe to my channel if you can. Another topic I want to talk about is I said last season, most of the defeats, we had a poor midfield. And I speak to Dave. Shout out to Dave. Dave's watching this. That midfield gets prepared against Crystal Palace. It's now, I think, personally, people might disagree, is our first choice midfield now, I think. Steve, do you think going forward now, and as well, we'll ask Mark and Glenn, do you think that's our midfield 3 from now? If they stay fit, do you think that's our choice now for the season?
Yeah, obviously there'll be twists and turns. One of the 3, 2 of the 3, maybe all 3 will get injured, suspended, pick up yellow cards. We got strength and depth, but then maybe in the January window to take us just to another level again, maybe sign another top quality midfielder just to make sure if any of them 3 get injured, because I agree with you, Ben, they are our top 3 midfielders as it is at the moment. It's just the right balance. They play off each other. They got, I don't know, it's just the way they blended together. I think Mangala's really found now that next to Sangara is go-to man. The amount of work rate. I told you this, Ben, that first game everyone's slating Sangara. If you watched him all, the work rate he puts in around that pitch. The guy just stretches a leg out and he just seems to drag the ball towards him. He's like Inspector Gadget with his long legs, He's just, is just a unit. And we've got a big midfield now, athletic midfield. We players get on the ball, like Dominguez, who I love. I think what a player he's going to be. And can I just say something about the defence as well? I'll come back to midfield.
Yeah.
With the defence, Ben, this is how scary it is. Murllio and Bally now, right, are our first choice, as it is now. But think about the players who could come in the background. We've still got Felipe, who hasn't kicked the ball yet. And what I'm saying is where the scary strength of depth is. I think only a year ago, to think to drop Worrell and McKenna was unthinkable. But it just shows one bad game, you're dropped, and it's very hard to get your spot back. Because Murllio now, if he carries on this form, he would have to have an absolute stinker for him to be dropped now. And the same with Bally, because you've still got Niakate, Felipe, McKenna, Worrell. You've got that young kid from Norwich in the background. Exactly. And it's same with the midfield. We've got Ryan Yates on the bench, who a year ago, we were on this podcast saying, you can't drop him. But now we've got options, and the competition is very good. It shows that other clubs like Arsenal now, they've got competition for places. They've upped their game. You need that competition, and players have got to fight to get back in. Because at the moment, the exception of Wood and Taiwo, that starting lineup yesterday, on paper, you wouldn't really drop any of them. Maybe Hudson-Odoi, maybe you touch him later. He had a poor game in my estimation. I think Glenn touched him. I think Palace got a number on him, though. I think they doubled up on him. They were wary of him. So you can, with him and Alanga, it's like for like. But yeah, that midfield, I'm going off tangent a bit. The midfield, Ben, like they said on the commentary on Sky, that the balance it gives us now, the spine looks so soft. We looked hard to beat. I think a year ago, we were lost that game. I think we were lost that game. That shot would have gone in. I think we could have lost 1 or 2-0. It would have been one of them games where we were like, oh, great, same old Forest. But I sat there yesterday and we looked comfortable. Yes, they were missing players. They playmakers. But like Glenn said, they're still not a bad team on paper. They're still a good Premiership outfit. And we made them look like a mid-table team. And I feel, I think Mark said in the beginning, is it 1 point gained or 2 points dropped? We may get onto that later. But yeah, midfield, stick with it.
Hello.
Yeah, but that's my opinion on the midfield, Ben. You can't drop them at the moment. Not with the form they're in.
That's a little bit I was saying. People in the chat as well. Do you think it's a point gained, 2 points dropped as well? Mark, what do you think? Do you think it's a point gain, 2 points dropped? What do you think?
I think when it comes down to it, for me, it's 2 points dropped, taking the game in isolation. We had far better chances than them. We looked more dangerous. We just didn't look strong enough in the last third, like Steve said. We really, really missed Taiwo. Midfield for me is starting to sort itself out, but I still think he might change it round for certain games, so that it can just tinker with the formation a bit more. And especially if Taiwo's going to be out for a while, it is difficult. But you're starting to see, instead of just 1 or 2 people whose name is going to be first on the team sheet, you're now seeing 4 or 5. And for me at the moment, Sangara, Dominguez, Murllio, first names on the team sheet at the moment. For me, that spine, that's just a spine starting to form. And if Taiwo can get back fit and play regular and keep improving, it'll be the top of that spine. But it still wouldn't surprise me if later on this season, if we splash some more money, some serious money, and try and get a top quality striker.
People in the chat, do you think I don't know. Do we need a top striker? That's people in the chat. What do you think? Do we need a top? What do we like? Like we're not even mentioned Danilo as well. No, we haven't mentioned him. And this is the fixture,
Ben,
like, and let me ask Glenn about this. And I was speaking to Dave about it. Like, Danilo's another top player, but is he going to get in that midfield or even the front three? Because he's a quality player, a young Brazilian as well. Is he going to get in, Glenn?
Yeah, he'll get back in when he's fit enough. And
where though? Where do you think he'll go?
He'll play in a similar position than Morgan played for the first half yesterday. He'll play on the right hand side, just like he did at Chelsea before he got the hamstring injury. He'll play out there. You know, we've been looking for I think the club has been looking for a Johnson replacement. Morgan Gibbs-White's been looking for a partner replacement, and I think Danilo or any one of them actually. Hudson-Odoi potentially, Alanga, probably preferably, or anyone ever. Danilo maybe would be an ideal candidate to put in that place. Now, the situation with who we're talking about? Sorry,
Danilo.
Situation Danilo is he's a young player who will get back in the team when he's ready. I think the decisions that we made last year medically will hopefully not be the case that players were played when they weren't perhaps fully fit. And obviously Cooper's way of, fudging the way through press conferences saying some players are and some players aren't, that may well be a little bit of a smokescreen. I don't know whether that's the situation that, I believe that Cooper's saying that they are fit and they're not, or vice versa, will be our advantage again, because it'll keep the opposition thinking right through to the start of the game or the hour before. Danilo will feature. He'll feature, I hope, when he's in a situation where he's not going to be rushed back. Partly this time because we've got the strength and depth to replace him, and he's the next man up for someone else who will be in a similar situation, no doubt. I don't think we are as in a difficult situation as we were when he came in, that we were looking for that replacement straight away. And we've got, as I said, we've got players around him that will feature. It'll be harder, like you're saying about the back four and other positions where those players are playing really well right now, to have them come in, particularly Danilo coming into straight away. But he's a solid squad player, particularly on that right hand side, and could offer a lot more going forward. I had the pleasure of getting soaking wet watching him play against Southampton last year and playing out of his skin. And that player we know will get fit again and will continue to have an impact in our team. Answering the previous question, I think I agree with Yatesy and Mark Harrison actually, in that they were saying both teams had a chance to win the game. I think it was a game. Totally agree with you, Steve, that we have lost this time last year, and it could well have been a late goal. Who shot that?
Moncho.
Right. That's the width of the post. Equally, the width of the post from Gibbs-White in the first half may well have been the difference. It was such a tight game in that final third. Both teams were defending really well. So I think any point on the road in the Premier League is a good point. It's another point on our way towards getting ourselves in a situation where we're pushing towards all of those revised finishing positions from 17 up to 14, 13, 12 that we're hoping for now. To answer another question, I don't think we've got the funds or the means at the moment to go out and splash out on a massive, because everybody's looking for an experienced striker in that situation. So it will be probably a matter of making do with what we've got. Although, there's obviously Man United players that are on not particularly great terms with their managers right now, and may well have that change in terms of Santo. But I was leaving the game. I didn't do a review for you leaving the game, Dor. I'm sorry about that. But leaving the game, I was actually quite happy with the point. I think both teams could have nicked it. I think it was a really good game of football, and a point on the road is better than losing it, as we would have done last year, easily, from any one of those chances that they had. So
I think
progress is being made.
Can I just say on that point, Ben, say to Glenn, we actually, from a year on, we actually looked like a mid-table team yesterday, a solid mid-table team.
Absolutely.
We didn't look like a flaky, like this time last year, we're going to lose there 3-0 or 4-0. We looked like a solid, nothing spectacular, but nothing flimsy. We were you were like two mid-table teams just going, like you said, both
100%.
defensively strong. We did look more dangerous going forward, but you could just see the game, the way he was going, it was going to peter out. I know we did a bit in the last 10 minutes, but it's good to see now why can't we aspire to be like a Palace? Because they are, and they have been a good mid-table, solid Premiership team for years.
Yeah,
And then we can
win at Old Trafford as well, aren't they?
exactly. So, and we can push on to be the likes of Villa, Brighton, and maybe the Brentford, and push on. You know, we are making these steps. And a year ago, we were just completely lost. But now, yesterday, we did show that solidness where we did look like a Premiership side, if that makes sense. A good, solid Premiership side.
Retention
Like
of the ball yesterday, Steve.
And a bit of steel.
Yeah, retention of the ball yesterday, Steve. Dominguez makes a massive impact on that. Mangala played fantastically well and obviously goes under the radar. You know, I just want him to play 90 minutes, actually. I think that would make a big difference for him.
Yeah, he's not been that minutes, has he?
Right. You're absolutely right. I think that
I think
yesterday was one of the best performances I've seen playing away this year. Far.
Yeah, and I think, Glenn, we recruited last year solid Premiership players like Bolly, Coate, big units, big presence. But no offense against these players, this summer we've signed more technical players and more ball winners.
Can I put in? I don't know if anyone watched Morgan Gibbs-White's interview on Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? We brought in better players in this time than last year. That was a bit cheap shot, wasn't it? On that.
Yeah, I saw the same thing, but I didn't really. Yeah, like I mean, last summer I signed 30 players. It's hard to run off them players now, just like that, bang bang, because there wasn't that many. But this summer, and I said in the show around that time, that last day was unreal. What we signed, the Sangara, what we signed Langer earlier on, but Hudson-Odoi for £8 million. You know, Murllio and the boy from Norwich and these players. You know, so Gibbs-White maybe was a subtle dig at the previous recruitment, or he's just being bluntly honest and just saying as it is. We have signed better players, and that's what it is. It has done. He's not lying. So
I want to touch on that. Like I said, this time last year, let's say we had 4 points. That's what we need to remember. 4 points last season. And I ask you, Mark, like I said, this season we've improved. Yes, we lost to the big three, but not big, heavy scores. Mark, like I said, we want to be a mid-table team now. That's our target now. Do you think that we can do it, be a mid-table, or even do better?
I think we can definitely. I mean, I know Cooper himself, he doesn't like to compare to last year.
Yeah.
But you've got to do that to just see how we've progressed. I mean, when you take those 4 away games against Arsenal, Man U, Man City and Chelsea. So last year, out of those, we got 1 point, which was away at Chelsea near the end of the season when we were playing okay. But when you look at the other 3 games, we didn't score a goal away at any of those 3 teams. We shipped, I think our goal difference was -14 over the 3 games. And so when you look at this season so far against those 4 teams, we took 3 points and a goal difference of -2 across those 4 games. So just a direct comparison. And it's against the big teams, you know, it's not against run-of-the-mill teams, it's against 4 of the biggest teams in the division. So you've got to put that down as progress. And going back to what we said a year ago, we might have lost that Palace game. We wouldn't have been playing the same team. We'd have been playing a back 5, you know, and players were still gelling. And at the moment, we've just got a few quality players that are coming in. They're gelling nicely already. So I think that's the big difference. And I think we definitely can finish mid-table or above this season the way it's going already if we can maintain it.
People in chat, what do you agree with Mark? Like mid-table, I'd be happy with mid-table. And who wouldn't? Like I said,
wouldn't Ben? Who wouldn't then?
Who wouldn't? I said, people
Take it all day.
We'll take it all day. I don't want to say I want to the Brighton footprint. I don't think we will, but the way Brighton do stuff, I love Brighton the way they do it. And you can mention Brentford a little bit as well. Brighton is the footprint that Forest has got to follow, but mid-table finish, you can't complain. People, please hit like button if you can. Glenn, like I said, the title won the act for a month, and people in the chat as well get involved with this. He's going to miss the international duty. He's going to miss Luton and potentially Liverpool. Do you, Glenn? And people in the chat are like, I said to a couple of mates at the fair today. I think Ty won't be back for the Liverpool game. I think Tony's playing. I don't know. Do you think he could be back, Glenn?
Could be. Who knows? You know, the 4-week groin strain could ideally be timed around the international break. It might actually be the best time for him to get an injury.
Yeah.
You know, equally though, similar time last season, we had a bit of a goal drought from him. He was injured. He then came back and scored pretty much every game over the space of the 10 following games, including the first 2 or 3 this season. And we were all saying, weren't we? If only he could stay fit, what impact how much of a difference would he have made? You know, how many goals would he have scored? Rushing him back might be a nice thing for him to go back to the club that he came to the UK to play for in Liverpool, right? It might be a situation where it might just be a game a bit too soon. And the aftermath of that might be a knock-on effect that might keep him out for a few more weeks. However, I know he's been selected by Nigeria, although he won't be playing for them in the international break. And it might be a best situation. He's got 2 weeks without any pressure of any games. So I'm sure, in fact, I know he's a really proud Nigerian who loves to play for his country. But to play for Forest in 3 weeks' time might be a nice situation for him to aim to get back for. We won't see him getting back on the grass in the next 10 days, 2 weeks, because they don't show them, do you? Those massive banners they put around that estate that even those people who live there, no doubt, don't see what's going on. He'll be on the grass in the next 3 weeks, no doubt. And it might well be a nice surprise for us to see him at Anfield, having features somewhere in that. I can also see a situation where him and Divock Origi get on a pitch in a Forest shirt in the same game. It will be brilliant if he does. But for me, we've got strength in depth. Okay, we're talking about Wood, and perhaps Wood's not the ideal deputy for him. But rushing him back, for me, might not be the best thing to do, just being on my cautious side, because I don't want any aftermath. But if he's ready, bring him back on. Bring him back on against Liverpool.
I want to beat Liverpool.
Let him run at him. Absolutely, let him run at him and see what he can do. And then let Wood or Divock Origi have a go at in the last 10, half hour, whatever it might be.
I want revenge.
It will be brilliant if he's back.
I want revenge of beating Liverpool away. I wasn't happy we lost 3-2 against them. I was happy we beat them at home, but I don't want to lose to Liverpool.
No doubt we'll preview that game, Dore.
Definitely.
And our back 4 or 5 now. How much?
Look, right, Glenn, ask the question.
The set pieces that and the errors we made. I know for sure we've still got errors in us as a club, particularly back there.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would have that same.
But Glenn, would you play a back 5? People in the chat. But Glenn, would you play a back 5 against Liverpool away? That's the question. People in the chat, would you play a back 5? Because we want to improve. That's the most important thing about playing low. I'm not even saying that word. I hate it. Everyone knows what I meant. Playing a back 4, like I said, we was happy with playing back 4, but Liverpool are different than Palace. Glenn, would you play a back 5? That's the question. Against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool?
Liverpool, not Luton. Liverpool.
I think he will. Yes.
I think he will.
I think he will, and then we'll see how the game transpires. There's players on our bench that can transform games, and we've got the ability now. And no doubt, the plan that Cooper still keeps talking about isn't one plan. it's a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Massive Formula One fan, and they always talk about these sorts of different plans as they go forward, depending on what's going on with the weather and tyres. Football managers will have the same sort of situation. If this goes by this time, we'll play these players. These are the two we'll bring on. That's why I assume they start with one sub and then bring two on with about 14, 15 minutes to go, and then the last, maybe one or two in the last, just as they did against Brentford, where they brought the two on Wood and Divock towards the end, just to see if we can get something out of the game. The plan will change as we go along. I wouldn't be surprised if for the first 30 minutes to 40 minutes, they stick with a 5 against Liverpool and just see if we can absorb and then go on the break. That's what I think would happen against that sort of quality team. Liverpool are a better team this year than they were last season.
100%. I want to we'll talk about, because there's no 15 minutes of this. Let's talk about Luton game. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful to Luton because they're in the Premier League for a reason, and we've got to show respect to them. I don't want to go on because they beat Everton, didn't they? So we've got to show some respect to Luton. But on paper, you can see that we can win the game. I'm going to ask you, Steve, is it her banker, or do you think it's going to be tough as like the beat Everton? Well, it's still going to be a tough game this day.
Yeah, it's not a home banker, but it's a winnable game.
Yeah,
it's a game. Cliche, we got to win because we go into it on 12 points. We go into the Liverpool game and a bit like these other clubs we've been to this season, the Cities and the Chelseas. I know we won at Chelsea, but then we go into the Liverpool game with that cushion with 12 points. So whatever we gain from Liverpool is a bonus. The Luton game, what we can't do, Ben, is lower ourselves to their level without disrespect. Yeah. We can't make it a dogfight. We can't make it a Championship, League One kind of game. We got to get the ball down, play the football, wear them down. Because I'd like to think we'd have more possession than them, which I know in our case is rare. Because even Burnley controlled the ball better, I felt, at home in the home game. But yeah, we need to just grab the game and scruff the neck. If we can score early, I think it could get messy for them, Luton. Because I feel I think there's a pasting coming. I feel we haven't really given anyone a good pasting in this league yet, have we? But then again, I would take a 1-0 scrappy win. It wins a win. It's 3 points. It doesn't matter I know it's goal difference, but I think, yeah, if we can score early, they got to come out. I've seen a few of the highlights of a few of the games. I think a pundit said on TalkSport yesterday, Ben, they look like a League One side in the Premiership, which, you can find that disrespectful, but they are just who they are, and we can't let it be a dogfight, like I said. Just play the game, don't get sucked into the tactics. Just, get the players like Dominguez on the ball, dictate the game. And then, yeah, I like to think, Ben, we're uncomfortable, but no game is comfortable. Look at the Burnley game, look at the Sheffield United game. It shows so far this season we have struggled against these promoted sides. We've had 4 points off them, but it'd be just like Forest now. First 20 minutes, mistakes, nervousness, Luton are on top. You couldn't see it going that way as well. You know what I mean? But then on the flip side, if we can hit the game early, just get an early goal. I know we scored early against Sheffield United and then they came back into it, but if we can score early, I think we can win this game comfortable, Ben. Maybe 2-3-0. It'd be nice if we could win a 4 or 5. I'd like us to push on now into that plus goal difference a bit. I like to see us on the +1s, 2s, and 3s instead of lingering in that mind. What is, Ben? I just get paranoid about goal difference that it can suck you in.
Yeah.
Because I said it a few weeks ago. The big plus for Man City away is where we didn't get spanked.
Yeah.
We came away with just a 2-0. And we're sitting on -2 now, where the lower teams are on the minuses, 10s, and even more. So yeah, it is a winnable. It's not a home banker. I'd say that. But
what about you, Mark? Like I said, we've got to show respect to Luton as well. But I think, like I said, I need to watch to be careful what I say. Luton, like I said, they've got some good, like some 1 or 2 quality players in the team. Our home forms. When's the last time we've lost at home in the Premier League? I don't know. Was it Newcastle?
Man United.
Was it Man? Oh no, I saw it was Newcastle. Wasn't
Was no, Harry Maguire was there.
Oh, 2-0.
2-0.
So the question is, Mark, like I said, win that against Luton. Can we, like I said, and this is for chat as well, can we get a top 10? That's the problem, because I'm thinking about Marinakis, not his fans, Marinakis, because he's pumped in so much money for the club. He wants to do better. He wants to get that Europa Conference, not Europa Conference. Mark, can we do it? After watching yesterday's performance, and Steve mentioned it, we play like a mid-table team, but in Marinakis' mind, he wants to get that European Conference, don't he?
Yeah, I think a quick one on the Luton. I was going to make the same point, Steve. We can't look at it as a banker. We've already seen that with Burnley and Sheffield United. So, you know, we've got to keep our eye on the ball. Would be nice to start well and score 1 or 2 in the first half, because, you know, the last Brentford and Crystal Palace, we played well in the first half and not turned that into goals. On the Marinakis thing, I think he was wanting a lot higher finish, but I think he sort of like tempered his expectations slightly after seeing what happened in the first season back. And I can't remember exactly what he said in the last interview I read with him, but reading between the lines, he was saying he realises now it's not just going to happen overnight by buying good players, and it is a long-term project. And so to finish consistently in the top half, it may take us a few seasons. And if that's the case, then I think he's going to be happy with that, rather than saying, I expect you to finish top half this season. You know, I think he realises how cutthroat the Premier League is, and we're not just going to do it just like that.
One thing I would say, just to follow on Mark's point, on the flip side, if we, no disrespect to Luton, if we are to establish ourselves as a good, solid 10 to 12th position mid-table team, we need to put them to the sword. We need to just put them to the sword, beat them, like convincingly. That's what I'm saying. Like 2-3-0, good, solid performance. If we're going to establish ourselves as a good mid-table team, we have to put these teams. If we want to push on, if we want to aspire to push on, we have to put these teams to bed. The Burnley one was a tough game. We did beat Sheffield United at the end, but we need to put a stamp on it and say, right, we're Forest, Luton at home, bang, and then move on. So yeah,
it's just who's going to score the goals, though. You know, if Taiwo was fit, I'd be a lot more confident of doing that. But just at the moment, it's like we said earlier, yesterday's game in the final third, we just don't quite look clinical enough at the moment.
We're going to talk about yesterday's game. Like I said, people just comment who was your man of the match as well. I think I have a guess who everyone's man of the match was, but you don't know. Everyone might be different, have their opinions. If people in the chat, who was your man of the match yesterday, and what's your team's rating as well? Let's start with you, Mark. Who was your man of the match, and what's your team rating?
I think it's easy to just start with the team rating first. I think you've got to give us a solid 7, and it could have easily been an 8 or 9 if we'd have won. For man of the match, it would be too easy to go for Murllio, you know. So I'm going to go for Harry Toffolo. Okay,
good shout. Very good shout for that one. I didn't see that coming, but like I said, he was good yesterday, to be fair. Steve, what's yours?
I'd give a good solid 7.5. Like Mark and Glenn have said, we just a little bit toothless up front yesterday. So we think we're stopping it being an 8 or a 9. I agree with Mark. Murllio's be too easy to pick. I'm going to go for Harry Toffolo as well.
Okay. I thought you were going to pick Murllio. That's what I thought you were going to pick.
No, it's too easy. That's what I'm saying. He's out there on his own. He's like the galaxy over there. We're trying to pick. That's too easy. But for me, like Mark said, Toffolo, I think for a player who's not one of the star signings, star players, just goes about his business. And I would love it if that shot went in the first half, went top in. You know, that would have been spectacular. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to Bally as well. Outstanding. And we don't talk about him enough, I think. You know, what we signed him for, and he was kind of then head-scratching signings. He seemed a bit desperate. But it just shows it's coming to the fore, innit? And yeah, I like to give him a shout out as well. So for me, though, Harry Toffolo for me. Just give us the right balance at left back. Made us look solid. It's just weird, like how we've been crying for left backs, Ben, for years, a proper out and out left back, and we've always struggled for left backs for some reason, for us up and down. But at least he's an out and out left back, and that's what you need. You just need. I'm not a fan of putting right back at left back. So you need a left back at left back.
Glenn's writing, keeps writing.
I'm just sitting here doodling, listening to these guys talk absolute sense.
What's yours there? Are you the same?
7.5 as well, and I happen to agree with them in terms of Toffolo. I thought he played an extremely good game against a young right-sided midfielder, right striker that really would cause the less savvy, wing back, left back, a bit more trouble, and he certainly be able to shake a few players off in terms of getting forward as well. So what he offered us going forward, again, I can't believe we haven't talked about it. You're absolutely right, Steve. That strike from outside the box, if that had gone in, he would have been man of the match all day. Equally, Montiel's 2 strikes on goal, either of them have gone in, he'd have been man of the match.
Yeah.
If Dominguez had got to, he'd have been man of the match. But no, you're absolutely right. In terms of Toffolo was the most valuable player on our side in terms of us supporting us in the back and going forward, over and above the actual man of the match, who we all know it was. So yeah, 7.5.
Sorry, Ben. Someone just put a comment there on Toffolo, and I think you acknowledged it, Ben, about his mentality, is what he's been through. His nightmare.
Is that from Steph?
One of the first comments that came up while Ben was speaking.
This one.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because yes, there's personal issues there, but it shows the mentality of the guy. That shows great mentality. Whatever personal things he's going on in his life, and we know it's been highlighted, to come through and just put their performances in and to get called up as well, because it could have been easy for Toffolo to be pushed to one side. Because I thought when Lewis O'Brien left, I thought Toffolo might have been, his room as he's going last January. So,
and to be fair, I think it was after when we played Man City. He played for the under-21s on that day as well. And when I seen that, I thought, he's not coming back.
Well, I've heard, Ben, I don't know how I heard it. I've heard he's a really nice guy as well off the pitch. I heard he's a really down-to-earth guy. I've just heard things online. People either met him through
family man as well, isn't
whatever, meet and greet or whatever. But apparently he's a really nice guy off the pitch, very approachable guy. So it shows the mentality of the guy that's why I highlight that comment, is that what he's been through, and to put them performances, like it could have, if he was having a nightmare out there, we could all just, bring him off, he's not mentally right. But to put them performances in, and just to be called on as well, like, he hasn't sit and sulked. He's been there. You can see him on the videos of these team things. He's always there. He's always high-fiving. He's always amongst the group. The training videos, he's in amongst it. So hats off to him. I think he's really come through. And, who would have thought a year ago Toffolo would have been our first choice left back? As it is now.
I think I've got a bingo with this one. Like, Toffolo for me was my man of the match. Yeah. Because like we all could go for Murllio. All about, for me, Toffolo was against a young winger, and he dealt with really good. So for me, Toffolo. Rating, I think I'll say 7, because I think we liked the first half was fantastic. If we did score them goals, it would have been a different matter. But listen, a 7, but it's a point away from home, and we didn't lose. So that's the most important thing as well.
Can I ask you something quickly about that Gibbs white chip?
Yeah.
Right. Johnson, the keeper, his reaction, do you think he thought it was in? If you watch it back, the way he was running back, because it was almost like slow motion, that he kind of gave up, but the ball rebounded off the post. He didn't make much of an effort to like watch it live. Do you think it was in when he looped it over him?
I think Johnson's positioning told him that it was going wide to the keeper's post far left. And then as he looked over his shoulder and saw it was actually coming towards the post, made him run back towards it. I think he would have reacted a lot sooner had it gone sort of towards his immediate position rather than over on his right-hand side, keeper's left-hand side. From where he was, I think he was watching his posts.
Because they said on the commentary is that Gibbs White, he caught it with his heel, didn't catch it kind of flush. If he caught it flush, it would have been
with his big toe, it would have gone
in.
Caught it with the back of his heel, which made him almost go out to the left-hand side rather than loop over the keeper over the penalty spot rather than over to the left-hand side.
But that ball, Murllio pinged to him. Oh my God!
What? No, Steve, you stop talking about him, please.
Sorry.
You can stop talking about him because
it's 14 seconds. Let's go back to talk about him again.
That's it now. No more now. The show's done now, people. Thank you, everyone, for our part. Glenn, Steve, and Mark, much appreciate for taking your time to come on this channel as well. People in the chat, I do appreciate everyone for coming to the channel. I've got a good show happening on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's going to be a very, very good show. We know it's the International Week, but I thought I'd have a little joke around on this channel on Wednesday. So you've got to watch this show. It's going to be fun. Little banter as well. Now I'm going to should I give you a little hint? It's teams in the East Midlands as well. So just have a little joke around on Wednesday. So make sure you go watch it. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's going to happen, but you've got to watch it if you want to have a little fun. Right, Glenn, Steve, Mark, thank you very much for having the show. Thank you as well, chat, for taking your time again to listen to us. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you've got any suggestions, if you want me watching this in the comment section, of any opinions that we've said on the show, have a little say. I'll be back like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we've got Luton, and then we've got Liverpool. But people, I know it's International Week, so enjoy yourself, have a little 2 weeks rest.
No, are you just no? Are you just an asshole weekend?
I was talking to Taiwo.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Taiwo. But peace, little people, and I'll see you soon. Up the forest, everyone.